Welcome to Slash Forward. In this episode, we're going to end our journey, specifically with Vincent Price, as he is, after all, the last man on Earth. If you struggle to embrace your universal awfulness in the eyes of others, subscribe to the channel to guide you. Let's get to it. We open on a desolate urban landscape where we see no signs of life and indications that public sanitation services have been completely abandoned. And then Robert Morgan wakes up to an alarm clock and maintains his calendars, because, especially in hell, we are all slaves to the construct of linear time. He goes about his chores uncomfortably in a time before athletic wear existed. We learn he spends his nights holed up in his house avoiding zombie vampires, and his days disposing of their bodies and fortifying his defenses. While out running errands, he also systematically searches the city for sleeping vampires to straight up murder, and taking the ones he can to the pit of eternal fire, which he has to ensure keeps burning. Basically, he's retired, but he also has a lot of projects he's working on. But the day slips away so quickly when keeping the mind and body sharp, so he has to rush home to put on a record in the hope it'll drown out the sound of the crowd banging on his house and calling out his name. The next morning, he reaches his limit, not of murder, but of monotony, and he goes to visit the tomb of his dead wife. He falls asleep there and awakes at nightfall. Despite the secure premise, he still rushes back home and into his house, his determination posing little risk due to their ineffectual assault. Since he slept all day, he's wired all night, so he delights in home videos of donkey kicks, and then flashes back to the good times before all this started. We see he was hard at work trying to figure out a cure to a mysterious virus that was sweeping the planet. His progress, however, was somewhat limited as regards the hypothesis that the victims were returning as vampires. His unwillingness to accept reality forced him to be an impotent observer as everyone around him succumbed to the illness, until one day he secretly buried his wife to avoid the fire pit, and then that night she came back, and now your boy's got no choice but to believe. The next day he comes across a scrappy dog and tries to entice her to come with him. While out searching for her, he discovers bodies killed by someone other than him. He ponders this until his friend returns, but only to get cleaned up and die. When he buries it, he sees a woman walking around in the sunlight, so he lumbers after her and convinces her she'd be safer with him. She settles in and introduces herself as Ruth, and she seems nice enough, but old Bob's grown wily, so he thrusts 5 pounds of garlic in her face as a test, because only vampires don't like this. Later, he catches her preparing for an injection. She's one of the vamps, but from an organized community that has discovered a way to temporarily repress the virus. They send her to infiltrate his stronghold and see what he knows, but he wants to join up so they can work together on a full cure. She declines his membership application as he's viewed as a monster to their kind, coming in the day and killing them where they lie. When she passes out from strain, he performs an involuntary blood transfusion, the most intimate and erotic act that can be performed between two people. And it works to cure her. She can tell by the feel of her skin. But she's scared it's too late as her community is planning to kill him that very night. When the halflings arrive in their noisy diesels, they can't hear Ruth's pleading. And then Bob puts the moves on him, demonstrating why they called him snake hips back in high school. They chase him through town, eventually cornering him in the church and putting him down on the pulpit like a dog, losing their one chance at deriving a full cure from his virus-immune blood, unless they quickly harvest it from his body, which I'm sure they do. This movie was the precursor to I Am Legend, and another of the few films in this box set that strike me as a legit full-release feature film, in that it's worth checking out on its own. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to become a part of the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching.